Hello and welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James. Today I'm joined by Matto Phillips, Damo Camilleri. How are you, gentlemen?
Oh, mate,
Oh,
summer and I'm wearing a beanie, a flanny, and track pants.
I'm sick of this weather.
Fantastic.
Well,
Oh, fuck,
not
love
totally,
it.
not totally. I do prefer winter to summer, but I would have liked to have gotten a few warm days.
I mean, look, it's been those warm
Better
days,
what?
those humid ones. My chili plants are looking fantastic, huh? And I'm a wog. I'm allowed to speak like that. Don't get all racist.
I don't think anyone's going to mind too much. So, this week, with kind of news that's been popping off over the last probably 6 to 9 months, really, there's been lots of mid-sized but like AAA developers getting bought up recently. A lot of consolidation going on in the AAA space. I guess some of the big names recently have kind of been picked up by other companies. We saw Insomniac; they got bought by PlayStation middle of last year, $220 odd million. This week we saw Gearbox get bought up by what's the name? Oh, well, basically like the THQ Nordic, the company that oversees all of them, for $1.2 billion. If
Oh,
yeah,
They're worth that much?
no, I don't think they are. Or
they brought it in Dogecoin.
yeah,
No,
they might.
that
What's
alien
Bitcoin?
game got them over.
Yeah, maybe something like. I don't know. I reckon if you, because Insomniac was kind of the first of these buys however long ago, you'd be kicking yourself now when you see that like you sell yourself for 200 odd million
200 million.
after holding on for like 15, 20 years. Like that, Sony wanted to buy them decades ago, back when they were making Spyro on the
Gearbox.
PS1. And
Gearbox
they
says, hold my beer.
yeah, Gearbox, who's probably a worse. I mean, Gearbox is still a great company, but probably a worse company than Insomniac, or at least the quality of their games worse. They went for like 6 times the price. You see Bethesda. Now, admittedly, that's a whole company with heaps of studios, but like 7.2 billion or whatever it was. Like, there's just money being thrown around left, right, and center. And Insomniac, after all those years of holding off, finally took money, and they didn't take nearly enough, it seems. But because all that stuff's kind of been going on lately, we thought we'd take a look at some other companies that are in a kind of similar position. We've got a little list of 7 different developers who make like really high-end AAA titles, but they don't really have a home. They're not owned by, well, like they might tee up some publishing deals from time to time, but they don't actually have a home. So we're putting them up for adoption.
They're putting them up for adoption.
So
Pitching them for adoption.
adopt a developer 2021.
Adopt a
Where
dev.
yeah, so we've got 7 studios: Bluepoint, Remedy, From Software, Bungie, IO Interactive, Level 5, and Platinum Games. And we're going to see if we can find what might be the best fit for each of those. Maybe we start with the bottom of the list, work our way up. Platinum Games. They've obviously done a lot of games for a lot of different people over the years, but do either of you have a place you think would fit them best?
Yes.
Go on, Damo. Get us going. Pregnant
All
pause.
right. So Platinum, they are Bayonetta.
Yep.
Yeah.
Astral
So
Chain
they've
and Near Automata
yep.
and
Done some really cool stuff. And because they've done some really cool stuff, and they pretty much work for Nintendo when it came to Bayonetta, and what was that game? The remake that came out. It wasn't a remake. It was like a hero game or something.
like Wonderful 101. No,
Was that it? No, that's not it.
a
Mighty
hero
Hero
game.
number 9?
Oh, Mighty Number
No,
9. That little 2D side scrolling piece of shit. That was meant to be like a
Yeah.
Mega Man game.
Yeah, and sucking everyone in. But look, that's besides the point. They fit in with Nintendo ridiculously well.
They're pretty friendly with them these days.
Oh, the wonderful 101.
yeah, Wonderful 101.
Yeah, it is. So just that in general, keeping that and Bayonetta, and Nintendo have a pretty alright relationship with Microsoft, or so it's like you can kind of produce these games with that company and then like lease it out to do things for Microsoft, if that makes sense. Like you can make really nice, pretty games because obviously this company can. And it kind of works in a really weird way. Like, so, I mean, yeah, the Astral Chain, World of Demons. See, even on
Yeah,
Android, they've got stuff going on Android, but it's like, you can make a lot of stuff for Nintendo and the Switch, hold it on for as long as you want, and then kick it over. Like, Scalebound.
R.I.P.
Scalebound. Okay.
Taken too soon.
Cancelled by Microsoft Studios, but Nintendo could just like pump enough money in there to let them do something like that, and it ends up on Xbox. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, but hey, we're taking this much as the profit, and Microsoft would kind of go, yeah, I mean that sounds pretty crappy, but then we get this great game and we have no games. You know what I mean? It's a weird placement, but it is a good placement at the same time because it's like there's stuff that fits and there's stuff that doesn't with Platinum on Nintendo.
Yes,
because
well, I mean, they did Mad World on the Wii back in the day. Like, they do stuff that doesn't really fit Nintendo yet is still on Nintendo platform, so it's possible. Matto, what do you think? Did you have anyone in mind?
I was the same. I said Nintendo, but then I thought, wouldn't it be funny if Sony got them?
I mean,
Being
it'd be
as called Platinum Games.
it'd be a nice change. Oh, what? Because of all the, like, when their games go platinum and all that sort of stuff. Oh, and the trophies and shit. Yes, holy crap! Why didn't I think of that?
it's
It's right there in it's right there in the title.
I mean, you've recently just stooped into platinum chasing with My Name Is Mayo, so it's all
platinum
fresh in
game.
head. I'm just used to it. I've just been buried in
Platinum
that shit for years.
chasing. Platinum chasing. he just fell into platinum chasing.
It's
with
almost
tapping a
worse
mayonnaise
than those ghost chasers.
I'd say it's more fun.
Make a whole TV series of Platinum chasers.
I mean, they'd kind of fit, but also be
There is one.
kind of different within PlayStation. Obviously, PlayStation gets a lot of criticism because all their games they kind of fit like they fit in a certain basket. They might look different or be set in a different thing, but they're third-person action games, and I guess Platinum is still that, but they're also kind of wild and crazy and stupid in a lot of ways as well. So like, it'd be a nice change of pace, I guess.
Kojima.
Well, yeah, partner Platinum and Kojima up. That'd be huge.
Imagine what Astral Chains would be then.
And they've kind of done it in the past, actually, anyway, because they made...
Don't give Astral Chain any more, Matto. That game is enough in its own right.
Well, Nintendo owns Astral Chain now. There was something that came out last week. They own the whole rights.
Fine.
So.
They can own whatever they want, but just keep it as it is right now, okay? Make an expansion, make a sequel, that's fine. Do whatever crazy shit you want with it. But currently, as it stays in its own goddamn pocket universe of effed up Nintendo stuff, Oh, sorry, not Nintendo, Japan stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
That's it. For me, I did have Nintendo listed initially, but I also thought Capcom. Capcom works obviously because Capcom's killing it at the moment, but also Platinum Games, like their history is actually with Capcom. They made Okami back in the day under a different studio name. It was called Clover Studios.
Okami.
And so they were all partnered up for years and years, and then they kind of split off and because they wanted to go off and do their own thing. But I could see them maybe going full circle and coming back. So I'm gonna put Capcom down there for myself, but I could see Nintendo or PlayStation very easily. Nintendo was my first thought for all the reasons that we kind of mentioned before. Sony is not something I considered, but that'd be brilliant. And I don't know, Capcom's maybe got there's a like a romantic side to that one where they kind of started there and came back at some point. Next developer, Level 5. So they're responsible for the likes of Professor Layton, Ni no Kuni. There's those Zumo 11 soccer games or whatever the hell they are. Heaps of stuff though. Even more recently, what do you call it? The Yokai Watch on the DS and all those sorts of things as well.
Smashing that stuff out.
The only thing for them is recently they kind of, I don't know, they must have been in a bit of financial trouble and they kind of started bringing everything back in house into Japan again. So, given that
there was a pandemic, an epidemic.
Yeah, which seems to have kicked a few people in the ass. But where do you think Damo will just keep going in that same circle? So where do you think would be a good home for Level 5?
that was easy. It was as soon as you said like Yokai Watch stuff. Like, I mean, I've done my research. I try to find things that fit, and I do believe that Bandai Namco Entertainment
Oh yeah.
is a perfect fit because not only do they already own the Digimon series of video games, and that it just kind of that level 5 just fits really well into something like that. You know, obviously you could Dragon Quest
Well, that's Square Enix.
8.
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, they did make it for Square Enix at one point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Jeez, that was a long time ago. Holy shit, I forgot about that.
yeah. But if you look at it recently and you just kind of go, like, obviously it fits with a fair few different companies and stuff like that, but because there's such a huge focus on that yokai stuff, and
Japan
I'm pretty
frosted
sure
over that.
Bandai are Japanese, but I think they
Yeah.
also can publish outside of there.
Yeah, they publish
I can't
out.
remember
They
what
publish
do.
out here. Yeah. In fact, in
Yeah.
Australia, they're like a massive distributor for a whole bunch of different things. Like they
Yeah,
put
that's it. That's what I was.
Cyberpunk out
I
here
think
and
They
like
did-
Square
they
Enix
did, like-
titles out here.
they get stuff out, so you know it'd be handy. Because I mean, look, everything can. I mean, just in Australia, I was thinking, especially everything cycles very quickly. Like I look at my nephew and I just see the toys that he plays with, and it's like, oh look,
Are we back to
there was
like
some,
cycle
like,
back
trend-
to yo-yos?
yeah, there was like some kind of Transformer car thing. Then that moved on to Bakugan, which I'm like, man, Bakugan was when I was a teenager. That stuff was floating around. I was like, I don't get this. And then it's Beyblades, and I'm like, man, Beyblades were in when I was like definitely in high school. I remember them. And it's like,
Was
holy
it out-
shit! Like
was it
this
out
is
of the
just
chip
recycling through.
Was it out of the
Was
chip
it out-
packet?
No,
No, well, that's
unfortunately,
rubbish.
they don't make nothing in a chip packet anymore. Australian government doesn't like you doing that. That's why there's no toys inside cereal boxes.
Oh, really?
Assholes.
Is that because
Yeah,
like
it's just health promotion.
all the Krusty Clown, like the little razor discs that are inside?
No.
Ah.
All those
Nice
chemicals.
reference, though. I'll pay that. We're all scum compared to Krusty, but like,
Little band
you know.
saws that are trapped inside.
Toy guns in
Circular saws.
toy. And there was a toy gun in a pie packet once.
Nice. I have no idea about that. What the hell happened
Well,
there?
that
You're an
that was Matt.
being here.
That was a Matt Houston story.
Oh, I'm gonna
yeah,
have to,
I mean,
I'll have to chase
look,
that one up.
all important though in cereal boxes is clearly just getting Age of Empires. Let's not forget
Yes.
the peak,
Nutri-Grain.
the peak of freebies. But yeah,
They've
no,
never
so
sold more Nutri-Grain than at that time.
Bandai, even I was going to say Konami, but it's not Konami. I can't think of the other company that I thought of, but we'll just stick with Bandai being my number one pick. Good luck.
I'm all for it. Matto, what are you thinking?
I was just saying Nintendo because all I knew was Professor Layton games, and that was it.
Mm.
I didn't really put much research into level 5. I just thought, oh yeah, I know Professor Layton. You can go Nintendo.
I know the first 4 levels. Level 5's nothing.
What's one more? Who cares?
Who wants to look at all the rest of it?
No, I mean they got some cool other stuff. Lots of RPGs and those sorts of things, and then yeah, Professor Layton. So I could see Nintendo working out. For me, I had Square Enix. Again, they do lots of RPGs, so Square Enix is probably a pretty good fit. And if some of their issues are financial at the moment, well, they've got lots of money, so that'll help prop them up. Probably get some better marketing and those sorts of things to maybe get the games out there and exposed a bit more. Things like Ni no Kuni, for example, like one of the best JRPGs of the last 10 years, and not many people bought it because not many people knew about it. And yet it looked gorgeous.
Yeah,
It had
loved
this,
it, but
yeah, it had that Studio Ghibli style. The first game definitely did. Second game, because it was co-developed with them. The second game, you didn't have Ghibli with them, but they still tried to kind of recreate that style and did a pretty damn good job of it too. And then the games themselves are awesome. So I don't like lots of RPGs. That instantly becomes a big Square Enix sort of possibility. I did have Bandai Namco initially, but yeah, I think maybe just for that financial support, Square Enix might be more important to them.
yeah, Square was my second choice. I just didn't write it down. It
Next
was
one,
either them or them.
Yeah, it's fair. They're the two kind of big ones that aren't PlayStation or Nintendo over there. The next one I've got is IO Interactive. So a lot of people are kind of thinking about them at the moment because they just recently put out Hitman 3. And basically all they do is Hitman, but it is worth noting that their next game after Hitman is a James Bond title. They've got the license to James Bond. Hopefully we've just seen the GoldenEye remaster that's just popped up online. I can't wait to actually give that a crack myself. But there's a lot of hope around this new James Bond title. So, who is the publisher we think would be best to scoop up IO Interactive if all this was to actually happen?
Okay. This isn't what's gonna happen, but this is definitely what I would want to happen. Okay, in a theoretical world, MGM movie studios that produce the Bond movies go, "Hey, you did a really good job with our Bond game. So we're going to create a game studio, and you're going to be the first people that we absolve. Not that all their future games are movie based, but just so that MGM realized that movies took a massive hit during COVID, and it might happen again, but games went up in sales. They create their own studio, so MGM Game Studios or Interactive.
I would never have thought about just building a new publisher.
I know. That's it. And this is it. This is how good this podcast is. We're reaching new levels when Damien does research. Yes! But I just do think that because of how well they've done with Hitman, they don't need to do more. Like that's going to kind of keep them afloat. The Bond game will probably be just as good and keep them afloat. It's like it can't be that crap. Like, I mean, I say that, and there's been games that have tanked.
Yeah,
like that Fall Guys game that was terrible. Bankrupted studio. Look at him, just while he was drinking, had to slide it in there.
What?
But no. So yeah, creating its own studio, and it's just again. I mean, it could be picked up by Sony, or it could be picked up by Microsoft, whatever, yada yada yada. Down the track. But
so that's interesting if they do make a new. If they make a new studio, the movie thing, then they can listen to those people and say, "Hey, let's make a Hitman movie, but don't make it shit." And listen to it could work two ways.
Everybody wins.
Because they.
How not to make a.
Because we've had a Hitman movie, and then we've had an Agent 47 movie, and they were like two different attempts, rubbish. I think, and they were both shit.
They both sucked.
There was two movies.
I think. I feel like there was. I feel like
I believe
there was two.
I haven't seen either.
Very interested now.
I saw the Hitman one,
and it was shit.
Don't watch it. It was horrible.
All right, well,
2015.
Damo's IT really works then if you go on
2007.
build a whole publisher, bring IO in as your first studio, and then they kind of riff off each other to make a movie, and obviously IO does the main thing, which is making awesome games, Hitman games, Bond.
They could just make all the Bond movie games, just past ones.
That could work. One for every movie.
GoldenEye. Yeah, there's 26 games lined up, done.
Holy shit!
Except GoldenEye. Leave GoldenEye alone. Well, it's not enough.
GoldenEye can stay as it is.
Well, it's not enough. You can have a go at because EA absolutely stuffed that up, and any other Bond game EA made, go ahead.
Seems to be a bit of a trend with EA and big, famous film licenses, like Star Wars,
very good games,
and Bond, and I'm sure they've done other things too. Harry Potter they had for a while.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Harry Potter.
Matto,
completely forgot about that.
What were you thinking? Because clearly Damo was thinking outside the box. Neither of us thought about building a publisher, so...
No. Well, my first thought was Square Enix, but then I realised Square Enix used to own them and sold them off. So I thought, no, we won't go that way. So then
it was a weird one, actually. Like, for anyone who's not familiar with that, like, they straight up let him go and said, you can take Hitman with you. It wasn't even like, we're going to keep the IP, piss off. They let him take it with them, which was a pretty nice gesture.
So then my next thought was, I couldn't really figure out a home for him. But then I thought, why not Take-Two Interactive?
Oh, yeah? Why is that?
because I think all their other games that they have are third person. Like they have some ownership of Rockstar. It's all third person. Pretty sure there's another thing in there. I couldn't remember.
Or like all the Mafia games and those, and for example.
Yeah, all third person. Yeah. That could all almost work. That's what I thought. I thought Take-Two, because I thought Ubisoft. I thought nah, wouldn't fit in a Ubisoft type.
I'll piggyback in there. I'll throw mine in while we're going down that path. Then I did put Ubisoft because at least at that point Ubisoft can put out a famous stealth game. Because fuck, they're not doing it with Splinter Cell. So let's get someone out there doing one of these stealth franchises.
Hitman. They bring him in to do Splinter Cell.
Holy shit! Please. No, they're different sorts of stealth games. But yeah, I did think Ubisoft. But anyway, Matto, go on. Keep going with your logic, though.
No, that was it.
Oh, that was it.
That was it.
Yeah, I think the only thing that kind of... IO's been making awesome games. The only thing that they've struggled with is sales. So I think that's kind of just getting it out there in front of people and exposure. So I, like, as I was kind of going through ideas, I had EA, I had Activision, I had Ubisoft. I had those three as kind of the main ones. And I kind of thought about Take-Two, but they're going to come up shortly. I had those three as my main ones because they're big companies, lots of advertising money, so Hitman will get seen by lots and lots of people, and that's probably what that franchise has needed over the years. So as a result, I then cut out EA and Activision because they'll probably ruin the game with I don't know if it's just microtransactions through the arse. No, if you want to get the rubber ducky so you can kill this person, or if you want this poison, you're gonna have to give us $5. Then you'd have the poison, then you can kill the person.
Okay.
So
poisoned him. But I mean, look, we glanced over it, but really, Square deserves a bit of credit for that kind of generosity there. That was,
yeah,
well, pretty unheard of within companies. So
yeah, there was no sale, there was no ugliness, no one lost a job. It was just okay,
hats
guys.
Off to them, so.
Here's a going away present. Yeah, I have Hitman.
Take Hitman with you. Yeah. It's all right. It's yours. Keep it. And to be fair, I don't think any other studio could really work on that franchise. And it's like they've really built themselves up to work on that franchise, which makes it really kind of crazy weird that they're going to work on a Bond game. Like, is it basically just going to be Hitman, but with James Bond instead?
Hair. It's just Hitman with hair.
So I don't know. We'll see.
No, it'd be a little bit different.
I think it would be, but I just can't even imagine what sort of game they'd make because that's all they've ever made. From day one, that studio's only made Hitman games.
Remember one of those old patched episodes where we discussed the future of superhero games, and it was like, Jesus, like Batman's done such a defining job of creating these incredible games, and then Spider-Man come along and it's like, you thought you could only play Batman as a good character? Sorry for anyone listening on headphones. I hope
it
that
just
was
peaked. Their ears just exploded. Now it's fine. So next one's Bungie.
Wait, dead Square Enix can. Oh, hey, here's an Avengers game. And everyone's like,
yeah, piss that shit off.
What is this?
It's from the guys who made Tomb Raider. It's gonna be good. Of course it is. And it's just.
Is there any?
Okay. So this one, you're ready for this one? This one's a good one. I got a good one for Bungie.
I'd love for you to say.
You'll never see it coming.
Activision
right?
Or Xbox.
The world has crumbled. The financial crisis after COVID has just ruined everyone. Even Bungie is like, oh my god, people can't afford to play Destiny and make 1 billion microtransactions for us to make money. What are we going to do? And then, obviously, this gaming company has become a powerhouse from absorbing so much. And they've created giant obelisks that just go across the planet, slaving mankind, and just absorbing more companies. And they come peacefully over Bungie. And they're like, Phil Spencer of Xbox, please! Microsoft Studios, give us another chance! We'll make you a Halo! We'll make you anything you want! That's it. That's how far it goes, right? Like, because there's no other way. We're getting a decent Halo game ever. And
oh, he's gone. He's just straight up dropped out of the call. Sorry, everyone, while we fix the video. Here he comes. He's on the way. Damo, you just need to make sure you turn your video on, mate, once you're back in there. Holy shit, there's no... like,
oh my
Here he comes.
Oh my god, what the hell happened?
You
I
got
don't know
so
what
excited that you broke the
I was
internet.
so excited. Microsoft for trying to take me down. That's it. Bungie and Microsoft.
Phil Spencer heard his name. He's like, what?
Audio listeners, just
Shenanigans.
go check out the video for that bit.
Shut it down.
But
It's almost as good as that
Shut
time
up,
he just froze and then was in ultra slow-mo.
no, that was great.
Classic
But
patched.
yeah, no, look, Bungie, really good fit. If they did need to get absorbed into by somebody, I guess they'd take a chance with Microsoft. Microsoft would be happy to have them back. They know that they can build good games with them combined. It's not a far stretch. It's not as crazy as creating a whole new gaming studio, but it's on that realm of possibility that
I can see it
on the horizon, especially with the way Microsoft are going, just like yoink, 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 yoink. You need games.
Yeah,
they can make them.
They can make them in really high quality. Matto, who'd you have?
I'm exactly the same.
Oh, you had Xbox.
I had Microsoft as well, because the one thing that Microsoft need is a good first party game, and Bungie could almost be that company that could do it.
Yeah, I mean they've got Gears, but yeah, I felt what you mean. Gears on its own
Gears
still
and
not
Halo.
enough.
They need something else. You can't just live off Gears and Halo for the next 20 years.
So you're not the same as Damo though, where you'd bring him back in and then get him to make Halo again.
Oh, if it makes Halo better, then go for it. By all means.
That's it.
My only worry, because
the other company just go, piece of paper just says you're in, they're in, you're out.
Just piss off 343, get out of here. That was my only worry. Is like I did think about Xbox for a while when I wrote that one down. Like, if they brought them back in, what happens to 343 Industries, the guys who that literally were made to make Halo games, who aren't smashing it out of the park? Well, everyone seems to forget that Halo 4 was kind of loved by a lot of people at first, and it just seems to have kind of over time people have seemed to grow to dislike that one a little bit. But Halo 5 was kind of trash out the gate outside of the multiplayer. That story was shit house.
I liked 4, but it was definitely no.
It wasn't Halo 1, 2, 3.
I like the
or Reach.
Story of Reach was great.
Yeah.
4 was interesting. It was taking a different direction. The Spartan Ops was really cool.
I feel like they've done some cool things, but they always just get something wrong as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's one of those things, right, where it's like they did well. 4 did well, but then the pressure of being, it's tough, and now it's like there was no support. It wasn't going anywhere. I don't know all the stories, so it's like.
Well, the multiplayer in 5's kind of shit. Is awesome, but yeah, the story's shit house. In 4, the argument was that the campaign was pretty good, and like you said, the story was kind of cool and the directions they were going with it. But then the multiplayer wasn't all that great. Then they put out the Master Chief Collection, which just didn't work for about 2 years. They get so close every single time and don't quite get it right. So I could see Bungie coming in and just being like, let's just you're that close, let's just finish the job and make an awesome game for them. But I don't know. I feel like you bring a Bungie in and then, I don't know, probably fire 200 people. I don't think Xbox necessarily wants to do that. But I had Take-Two because they Matto, your point before about them having lots of third-person games and all that sort of thing is bang on the money. But with Gearbox disappearing this week to go off and presumably do maybe that. Well, they had Borderlands obviously, but I assume they're probably going to want to try and find a way to keep that franchise going. But if Gearbox is leaving, and I can't remember who actually owns the IP. I can't remember if Gearbox owns it or Take-Two owns it. But they're either missing the IP and the developer, or at the very least, the developer. So they might be looking for kind of a loot 'em, shoot 'em title, not necessarily in that Borderlands sort of theme in terms of style and personality, but that model, just constantly coming back, loot drops, guns everywhere, that sort of thing.
So
and Destiny. Basically, they'd be the home for Destiny 3. At the moment, Bungie's self-publishing and seems to be doing pretty well financially as a result, but Take-Two could give them a good home. Next one's one of the big ones. From Software. So the makers of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro. They're working on Elden Ring at the moment. Who did we have in mind?
From what? From Software?
From Software.
Activision. I had Activision, but that was my go-to. I also saw that this could be one of those things where they become so successful that they create their own...
Oh, he's outside the box again.
Thing again, where they just become their own publisher studio. Like, you know what I mean? They're big enough.
Like what Bungie is, so they self-publish.
Done heaps, yeah. But like one that does look after these smaller companies that, you know, eventually don't do as well, especially during other times. It's like, hey, you know, kind of like what what's that game called that everyone liked? Cards Against Humanity. Pretty much what they did. They started so small thing, and then when Kickstarter is becoming really big, and that people were like, how are we going to produce all these cards for these? Like, we didn't expect to get as many orders. Cards Against Humanity were like, yo, we have like our own factory now that we produce all our stuff because it's worldwide. We'll let you print on our machines. And it was like, wow. So then they, like, just because they become so big, I just kind of use that as an example.
Yeah,
it was like,
no, it's a good one.
Yeah, they've done so well on their own. Like, there is, oh my God, I'm so sorry if anyone can hear any of that crap. But, I mean, look, they got Armored Core. That could keep them afloat for years. Like, you know, mech game.
But the Souls games make them millions.
Yeah, exactly. They can do whatever. So, but I just thought, if they become their own thing, eventually they could be just one of those launching pads for smaller things.
Makes sense. Matto, who do you have in mind? We're clearly thinking within the box. Damo's a big picture thinker here, so we're too close-minded.
Well, for some reason I thought, and he's just walked off.
He's still
for some
listening.
reason I thought he's left the building. I thought Capcom.
Oh,
for
yeah.
some odd reason. I think just being the whole Resident Evil, scary, suspenseful.
It's like the Souls games just kind of leaning into the horror that they already have going.
Yeah, pretty much. It was either that or Sega, but I thought maybe not Sega. That's not their type of thing.
Consistently good games is not Sega's thing.
Their thing's just Olympic games with Mario and friends.
And Yakuza.
That's just Sega. And Yakuza.
And I guess really Persona, but that's another company they just kind of own.
And Daytona.
They make Daytona games.
No, that arcade game?
Oh, that one from way back. Right. Holy shit. Yeah, okay.
That one. Well, yeah, that one. The one that's all in every movie cinema, or used to be, until the claw machine came in and ruined it for everyone.
The claw machine. Gift. I thought Capcom. Yeah. I had Bandai Namco, and that's maybe that's like an easy get out of jail card because they've published tons of their stuff already. They published Dark Souls in parts of the world. Demon Souls, the original Demon Souls, back in parts of the world where Sony didn't bother. They've published a whole bunch of the Dark Souls games. They are publishing Elden Ring when it comes out. From Software only kind of jumped ship for a little while when they did Bloodborne exclusively with PlayStation. They worked with Activision for Sekiro, but then they've come back to Bandai. So I'm wondering if maybe Bandai's kind of tossed the wallet out there and is maybe considering picking him up. So that's kind of my choice there. But I do see all the other ones in Damo again, thinking outside the box, keeping us all on our toes. Second last one is Remedy. So lots of people know them for their old games like Max Payne, but in more recent years, Alan Wake, Quantum Break, and then most recently Control. Where would be a good home for Remedy? Because they kind of come up with some weird and wild sort of stuff, even though they're still just third-person shooters at the end of the day. Where would be a good home?
Ooh. Oh, wait. So that was Remedy, yeah?
Yeah, Remedy.
Oh, yeah. I gave them to Microsoft.
Because of their history, or?
Yeah, the history Microsoft could do with a company like them. Like, you know, it's one of those weird things, right? Where the current trend, I can actually see it happening, which doesn't make sense that they haven't picked them up already. But I guess
I reckon they probably asked.
Maybe they're waiting. They're waiting for it, and yeah, maybe they're like, "No, that's alright." And it's like, we just saw how much you spent on Bethesda, and it's like, yeah, but you're not Bethesda. You know what I mean? It could have been one of those things. But yeah.
But seriously, if you want to give us $7.2 billion, go for it.
Yeah.
We'll make one game every 3 years and be rich as fuck.
Yeah. So definitely going to Microsoft on that one. No big, crazy, outlandish things there. I don't want to get killed by a novelist.
Phil's listening.
Giant flying
He's
Xbox
everywhere.
Just
Matto?
I went with Ubisoft for this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Because when I played Control, I thought, hey, they could make a really good Star Wars game.
Holy shit. Yes. And Ubisoft's obviously working on Star Wars these days. Not on their own. EA is still doing it, and other companies are too, but that'd be sweet.
Because Jesse uses the Force in that game, and you just kind of see it, the layout and all that. Easily a Star Wars game.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, whether they go to Ubisoft or not, I have no idea, but the Star Wars idea, them working on Star Wars, is brilliant.
Just make the story make sense, and it'll be all good. That's all they need.
I can get around that.
But that might confuse people.
Yeah, it'll be a super confusing game, which, I don't know, maybe that's a counter for them to get Star Wars, because people, I don't know, people like their Star Wars simple. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, people seem to like their Star Wars simple. So maybe Remy's a little bit too highbrow for it. I don't know.
Start off with like Luke, Chewbacca, and whoever else, and then a ship comes and just lands on them.
And out strolls
whoever you like.
Yeah, let's just go from there.
Jar Jar Binks.
With a lightsaber, ready to kick ass.
And then Jar Jar tries to open the lightsaber and it pokes himself in the eye, and then he's dead.
Credits. Done. Similar sort of idea, though I didn't imagine Star Wars. I had Warner Brothers, so WB Games, just because they got lots of money to throw around.
The previous one we were talking about.
Yeah. So they've got, last time. Well, they
money?
Not up for sale in the end. So I thought, WB might be a good spot. Similar sort of logic as to when I was talking about IO before. Like their marketing dollars and all the advertising money that just comes from the fact that you're Warner Brothers just means it should help get the games out there, which has kind of been their biggest issue, is that people, like, the games are awesome, people don't buy them. Even when you're partnered with Microsoft, like what they did with Alan Wake and Quantum Break, just because it wasn't their number one priority, Halo and Gears and those sorts of things, they just never, I guess, gave them enough money to get the game out there and see it on buses or billboards or popping up on YouTube ads all the time and all that sort of thing. Like, missed opportunities, whereas I think WB would absolutely do that because, when a Batman game gets announced, for example, or even that Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy, which got delayed to next year, but, like, holy shit, there was just ads everywhere straight away. So it's hard to get out of your face when they make those announcements. So I reckon they'd be a good fit for them. Last developer, I should say, is the one that I think there's a lot of people talking about this mob on the internet and where they should go, and most people seem to have one idea in mind. I mirror that, but Blue Point. So they're basically been known as a remaster studio for quite some time. They remastered Metal Gear 2 and 3 for Konami. They did a port of the original Titanfall to get that on the Xbox 360 and PC maybe, while Respawn did the Xbox One version. And then recently they've basically just been a mile up PlayStation's ass with like God of War ports, and they did remasters of Demon's Souls and Shadow of the Colossus. So where should they go? Damo?
Wow. I haven't given this place any love all episode.
He's
I'm
going
worried
back
the
to
fanboys are going to come after me. I reckon they'll call me a shill, a Microsoft shill.
Holy shit, he's doing it.
It's actually going to Sony. Sony Interactive. I'm not gonna give Microsoft any more power, as we have discussed. They have Obelisk in my universe, and they're absolving and enslaving mankind, and poor Sony.
I'm just gonna Photoshop
Teeth.
an Xbox Series X just into the background of your shot, like.
You know what? I'm just gonna get a green screen for you. I'm gonna make your job easier. I'm just gonna give it a green screen so you can just constant Garbadors or whatever they,
Yes. Long overdue.
But no, and
41
I
minutes
Garbador. Had a good think about it. They fit, in a couple of good places, and they do, a lot of good. But it's one of those things where Sony can do good for them, and they do good for Sony. And that's how I kind of look at because it was Remedy and Bluepoint were the first two that I looked into. So of course, straight off the gun, like their creative juices weren't as flowing, and so
got going with them, and then all of a sudden, this mob can make their own publisher, and this mob can make their own publisher, and James Bond's for everyone.
That's it.
Smashing it.
Smish.
Matto, who do you think?
They can go to Nintendo and just remake all their back catalogue of all games.
Holy shit. Like,
64.
Where would they start? Like, where would you want them to
start?
start?
64 and enter the game.
Remake Ocarina of Time.
No, they can just skip over that. It's been remade too many times.
Well, I'd say it's just been a port every single time, but like the full-on...
remake Donkey Kong 64.
Can you imagine the DK Rap remade? Like full-on remade, not a remaster, just polished edges, like straight up from scratch. I don't even care about the rest of the game. Like the DK Rap, 4K, round edges, HDR, I guess. I mean, look at the fur physics on them. Holy shit, that'd be huge.
That's fur.
Who was it? Some company put out a game and they've just made a bit. Oh, I think it's Ratchet. They make a deal about the physics and the hair physics and all that sort of stuff on them. But yeah, Nintendo would work. I did think we were going to be unanimous on this one. So Matto, thanks for ruining that. Honestly, Sony is easily the front runner. I think in the minds of most people. I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. I feel like this year might be the year where that actually happens. But they've got a good thing going with those recent remakes. I'd love to see them make their own game at some point. And I reckon
called Remaster Simulator.
It's just a game engine. It's like Dreams. It's just a game engine to remake whatever games you want to make.
Bring whatever game you want to bring in, and you can remaster it.
And just like Dreams and Little Big Planet and all those sorts of things, it ends up just people get in there and keep making Mario levels. They just keep remaking Mario games. So Nintendo's just getting $3. And so we all managed to win with that one. So, yeah, I mean, they're just... PlayStation's got a ton of stuff in their back catalogue as well that just doesn't get any love these days.
They remake Siphon Filter?
That'd be a good one.
I want to see a high res Burning Man from the Zappa.
I watched a stream of that last night.
Siphon Filter?
Yeah.
This guy's just playing through whatever games he wants, and he's like, "Oh, you know what, lads? I've played Siphon Filter in a very long time," and I'm like, "No." And it looks so much worse than I remember it, but it's so goddamn good. Yeah, I've listened to Matthew a fair amount. I've picked up on a couple of his things. Cultaholic. But before we finish up, we go, I think there's one studio we didn't talk about.
Oh, okay.
And that was Rockstar Games. Okay?
They're owned by Take-Two.
Right? Yes. But this is the thing, right? They're going to have so much money from Grand Theft Auto that they're actually going to buy out Take-Two. They're going to absolve Take-Two to become, and then Take-Two will be producing games for Rockstar. That's, if we're talking about crazy things that happened in this gaming world, obelisk and everything like that. This is going to happen as well. This is ultimate power.
I'm pretty sure they'll be able to buy Take-Two from their first day earnings from the new Grand Theft Auto game if they ever make it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but I mean,
we've had a whole 5 people working on this. It's just uses the old engine of Grand Theft Auto 1, and you fucking simpletons will buy it because it's Grand Theft Auto. It costs
Grand Theft Auto
$25 to make, and it's broken, but you'll love it.
I just
Grand Theft
imagine
Auto
now that
4, but the driving is fixed.
I just imagine now that at that point we never see another NBA 2K game ever again because you can just go and play it in GTA 6 because they just bought them.
Yeah, that's it. There's entire games inside Grand Theft
Just
Auto.
the neighborhood.
That's how what it becomes. It becomes the new
GTA
Oasis
is
or
video games.
online, Sword Art Online, whatever stuff you put on the VR headset and you go into a world, you're just living in
RuneScape.
San Andreas or Vice City or whatever.
Portal.
You just go into different worlds and play. Yeah.
Damo really has done a ton of research for this one because that just to leave us with that one. It's just
Trying to imagine just imagine the new Ratchet and Clank game and just this big portal rift comes open and Trevor Phillips comes through that portal. It just starts punching everyone and swearing. Be great.
That gun.
I can get around that.
I never remember the gun though.
With Wade with him.
Ted Price and folks at Insomniac, I know you're listening. Just find a way to squeeze Trevor Phillips into Ratchet and Clank. You've delayed it for whatever reason, clearly, so just time to squeeze him in there. Go for it. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap things up there. We've now covered 8 publishers in the end, or 8 developers in the end that one that's just going to consume the entire world. But 7 other developers there that we found a home for all of them. We'll see what happens with some of them.
And not one of them went to EA. I think that's a win.
Thank God. And long may that continue. So we'll wrap things up there. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all the buttons down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new video the moment it goes live. That includes more patched Player 2 plays like Game Review, Gamer School, and a whole bunch more. Awesome stuff there, so subscribe and go and check it out. Visit the website, player2.net.au, for reviews, previews, opinion pieces, news, features, links to the podcast series, the audio version of Patched, the Player 2 Pixelcast, and Dev Diary. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks. Lower tiers early access, higher tiers monthly episode exclusives. And then there's Twitter. Damo, where can you be found?
At Tacos Talks.
What are you doing?
I'm putting on no bite nails.
Oh.
Nail biting.
So it's like the old Nintendo cartridge.
Nice.
So
I
it's
was
like
looking
the
at
old
last week,
Switch
I think he's painting his nails,
cartridges.
but it can't be as simple as that.
Yeah,
And
well,
turns out it wasn't as simple as that.
That's it. Stop and Grow, available at your local Doonies in Gisborne.
The sponsorship continues. Matto, where can you be found?
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games for me. The website is player2au. And until next time, save your pennies and go and buy a developer.
Hashtag adopt a dev.